hopefully that music will eventually end. There we go. I think it's done. Okay, we are live, and Thamer is with us too with Sideline. Glenn.
Hello.
Oh,
how's it going?
I am getting an echo from somewhere, but I don't know who or where.
Can you hear me? Are you getting
Yeah,
it?
I think we're all good now. I think we're all
Okay.
good. Tamer is with us, like I say,
Great.
with Sideline. Glenn, the Brentford guy, is in the house from our panel show. Welcome along, gentlemen. And we do have a calling going today, so we'll see how that action goes. If you want to jump on air, the link is right pinned in the chat. All you got to do is just subscribe to the channel, hit that link, and we'll bring you on. All we ask is have a camera, face the camera, and then we'll watch the game together. We can't obviously share the game, but we will quickly share the lineups over here. I don't know if you've seen the lineups yet, but I will have you take a go at it first, Glenn. First initial thoughts. Any surprises for you?
Let's see. Well, Rico Lewis is starting for Man City, and I was scouring the forums yesterday. Fantasy football, the way it is, you're always trying to get that edge and see the lineups. I've got him in my team, but most fans didn't expect him to be starting, so I guess that's a surprise. He wasn't starting in most of the predicted lineups I saw as well, but obviously Pep trusts him. Who are we missing out on? Stones is back. That's going to be huge for City, having him hopefully for them consistently in the team. It's a dangerous team. It's a creative team. I mean, look at that front, six really with, Bernardo, Foden, Gundogan. Lewis is creative, Savio and Haaland. I mean, that's a dangerous team. And as we know from a lot of the previews to this game, they match up well against Man City. But you could also argue, conversely, that, Spurs actually suit playing against this Man City team. And the player to watch, as we all know, will be Son on the break. And to see whether Tottenham can hold on, soak up the pressure, and then counter. Big game for Solanke as well. A big stage for him to really prove his value for this Spurs team. I think he's been a great signing. I think he's exactly what they need, but a lot of people don't necessarily agree with that. So, if he could get a goal, that would be great. And we're expecting goals, right? That's the hope today. I think there'll be plenty of goals.
I mean, obviously, before I go to Thamer, we're clearly rooting for Spurs with Thamer over here. But as a Brentford fan, do you have one side you're rooting for as opposed to the other?
I would say Spurs because I want the title to be more fun. And Chelsea got a win today. Arsenal got a win today. We expect Liverpool to get a win tomorrow. Nothing's guaranteed in this league, but we expect a Liverpool win. So, I would like to see a Spurs win, and let's shake things up. And let's, that would be the worst ever run for Guardiola, won't it? Even worse than it is now. So that'd be very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun to pile on right there. Thamer, like I said, man, first of all, welcome aboard. And I mean, obviously, we're rooting for a Spurs win. How hopeful are you? I guess I'll ask you that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Big up Glenn and Timuchin and everyone who's watching us. I don't know. There was a lot of, how can I say it, a lot of contradicting news to some of the players, like Romero. I thought that he was ready and he was coming back, but I guess he's playing with Ben Davis instead. Son is back. That's good for Spurs. I'm rooting for Spurs for sure. But for City, it's really weird. I thought that he's gonna have Nunes, Matthew Nunes.
Mateus or whatever.
Yeah, Mateus Nunes. I thought that he's gonna play him like in the double pivot or one of the 2 6s, I guess. Instead of playing LK Gundogan there. So that for me that's kind of a little bit weird. Last game for City, he played him on the as a left wing. So I understand that because he had a lot of injuries. He didn't have Duco or Jack Grealish or any of the regular people in the left wing. So he played Nunes there. And he did good, at least in the first half. But Kyle Walker in his press conference, Pep Guardiola, before this game, Pep Guardiola was talking a lot about, he talked a lot about Kyle Walker. That, I don't know. He said something, but it sounded like he meant something else when it came to Kyle Walker. I swear, man, it's really weird with Pep. Um, he's funny. He was so he was saying that he doesn't mind if Kyle Walker or any player plays for their national team. Okay, that's a very political answer. But then at the same time, the context that he was building up out of that, it was something different. That he didn't actually want Kyle Walker to go there because if he came back with an injury or not being fit, then he has an issue as a club. So he's playing Kyle Walker today. So that's another thing that a surprise for me, to be honest, because the way I understood what he was trying to say, that he's not going to play him. But go Spurs! Please do not do any Spursy stuff today.
I know, right? Today is not the day. No patience for Spursy stuff today. I think it should be a fun. I mean, honestly, Spurs. I mean, your boys at Brentford, Glenn, are always like a fun team to watch. I didn't get to watch the team. I'm like you were actually. We should get your take against Everton. Leave it to Everton to make a game like low scoring. But what was your takeaway from that game? Ooh, that was a hard.
Yeah, we've
That's the
just as you were,
fastest yellow of all time, by the
as
way.
you
Like
were
18
asking
seconds.
me, as you said those very words, somebody charged in and hacked down the attacker. Basuma on a yellow within what 10 seconds. Amazing. Hopefully that sets the tone for a feisty game. It was actually a feisty game over at Goodison as well. So yeah, they were all over us first 20 minutes. They played very well, and it's quite funny, we just keep joking about Calvert-Lewin and how out of form he is, but it's just like, he can't buy a goal. He didn't play badly today, but how many chances did this guy have? I just can't even believe it. And McNeil was back for them, and he is such a danger, such a live wire. He must have had genuinely about 10 shots himself, and he just couldn't, finish it. But then we had a really, really controversial red card that will be a big talking point. In the Premier League, this weekend, Norgard went in for to try and tap in a ball. A cross came in. He dived in to try and tap it home, and he caught Pickford. Referee didn't give anything, didn't give a foul, just play on. VAR, calls him over to the screen and he gives a straight red. It split opinion. I was convinced it was not a red. I thought it was a disgraceful decision, but a lot of people said, studs make contact with Pickford's leg and it should be a red, but I didn't see it. So anyway, that was just before half time, and that set the tone for the rest of the game because it was back to the wall, 10v11 for 45 minutes. And I cannot believe we held on. Honestly, I barely got on this stream in time because I needed genuinely 15 minutes to just sit, calm without any kind of sport stimulation and just calm down because I was convinced, the amount we've talked about it on the Premier League panel show, but the amount of late goals we've conceded, right? Against good teams away from home. And thankfully we weren't playing a good team because Everton are really awful. But, it was very harsh for them not to get a win considering how dominant they were. The funny thing is, despite having 11 men and creating so many chances, we honestly looked the more dangerous when we went forward in the second half. And Keane Lewis-Potter has a bit more quality, a bit of end product, then maybe we get a real smash and grab win. But I will take that point all day long, delighted with it and really, really pleased with how well we defended for our first clean sheet of the season and our first point away from home.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
I mean, clean sheet, I know for Brentford, it's been a challenge, but then again, you guys score in bunches as well. Meanwhile, so far, Spurs looks really shaky. I just feel like they were the first 10, 15 minutes. They got to keep this thing close and then hopefully hit something on the counter because we know City can lead goals and Spurs is probably the perfect team to go at him in terms of the counter.
Well, Spurs, one big critique for me about Spurs is they don't know how to slow down the game sometimes, like especially if they have the ball. I hope that they work on this, right? And they try to do that, especially after, like, say, if you score a goal, you should slow down the tempo a little bit, right? And try to choose your moments, especially with a team like City. You don't want to expose yourself a lot, right? And you don't want to push forward like too much. You have to choose your moments.
I think, like, I don't know what you think, Glenn, like as an outsider watching, and it kind of reminds me of our club days a little bit, where it's only one gear, and that's the high gear, like the way they play the high line and everything like that, which you have to be really careful with, because it can go really good and it can go really bad, like this one could, because it's a 3-on-2.
Oh, here's
In
Haaland.
Haaland.
the
Here's
box.
Haaland.
Haaland.
Oh,
Ooh.
I think he got a
Aye,
deflection.
aye.
see, if it was Nunez, we'd be giving all kinds of shit, Damer. But when it's Holland, he just gets away with it.
Yeah, I mean, with Spurs, it just feels like, yeah, they are a bit of a one-trick pony under Ange, and there are huge highs to that. The way they tore us apart when we played them in September. We were winning 1-0, I think, into halftime, and they blew us away afterwards. And yeah, when it works for Spurs, they play really high-octane, exciting, fascinating football. And Chris Sutton, pundit, former player in England, he always jokes on 606's phone-in show with Robbie Savage. He always says he loves Ange and he loves Ange Ball, and he always says, "Would you prefer a season ticket at the Emirates or at Spurs?" And he always says, "Spurs, Spurs, Spurs. I prefer to watch that." And to some extent, I appreciate, yeah, it's fun to watch entertaining, really aesthetic football. But when you're so inconsistent and you're not going to challenge for the title, certainly. But even like I'm seeing this Spurs team getting pushed lower down the table by teams like Chelsea, who are overperforming, would say, with expectations so far. So you're like, you can play the best attacking football you want, but if it's barely getting you a place in maybe the Europa League or Conference League, I mean, is it really working? I guess the Spurs fans would say, well, we've watched various forms of poor football under numerous managers like Conte, Mourinho, etc. over the last couple of years, and I understand that, and I'd probably prefer to watch Ange Ball week in, week out than someone like Conte, sure, but you are sacrificing probably a position or two, if not three, in the league by doggedly sticking to this and not having a plan B. That's the real problem. There's no plan B for them.
I mean, yeah, you gotta get better at it, right? I just don't know if they have gotten better at it. Like, you're playing like that, and it is risky. It is what it is, but you kind of keep getting better at it. So where the consistency starts coming in, that has to be a foul, right? I'm assuming he played advantage, but yeah, I mean, I think that's like the issue there. And if you're constantly leaking goals, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this. I remember like we had a Burnley fan on once. Kind of like talking to us about Burnley, about like the Sean Douche days over there. And like he was saying, it's after a while it does get old. Like, you understand, hey, we got to play like this. And that was the complete opposite, right? They were playing extremely defensive and boring football. And he was like, hey, like, I don't care about results. I would rather, like, when I go to the stadium, because it was like a regular season ticket holder, would enjoy what the product that's being served to me. And if it ends up in a draw or a loss, it is what it is. At least I was entertained, kind of thing. It's kind of like one of those deals where I don't know which way. I'm thinking, like, which one would you prefer? We've been lucky, and I know even now people complain a lot about slot ball being a bit more controlled and slower and stuff like that. Do you have a preference? Do you want result oriented, or do you want entertainment oriented when it comes to your team?
Well, it's kind of a harsh question, especially when you have when your coach is new. Like, you can't ask a lot from your coach. He's new to the team, new to the league. What I think that he's trying to do is he's trying to build up the style that he likes. So if you watch like some of his games under Feyenoord, the guy, like, against, say, weaker teams and mid-table teams, he preferred to play tiki-taka and ball positioning and possessing the ball most of the time. We don't see that yet with Liverpool.
Yeah.
And what he's doing with Liverpool, he used to do it under Feyenoord when he plays uh, top tier teams like Ajax or Eindhoven, or his game against Atletico Madrid, which is speed transitions, counterattacks, depends a little bit more on long balls and whatnot, right? So he does that against like top tier teams. So he does have plan A, plan B. Now, results is what gets you the um, better position of the table, get you also championship. Like, tell me, how many games did you enjoy watching City last season or the season before that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably may okay, you know what? To be fair, maybe one or two. The games when they were playing against Liverpool. and potentially they've lost or draw some of them too. Right? So the question should be like, do you want trophies and titles, or do you want to just be entertained?
Yes, I mean, I think finding because the thing is, Glenn, you gotta have results if you're going to continue to improve on it. So, and I think Spurs have. I just don't think they've taken the next step. But I feel like you have to get some results so that you stay in job as a manager. I'm saying you stay there so you can keep working on things and improve on things, make additions that feel like that fit the style and stuff like that. Because I mean, you can play as entertaining as you want unless you're Vincent Company, it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they're on the counter here, but they're in 10th place in the table. And sure, it's still early-ish in the season, but when we start approaching Christmas and we get this huge crunch of fixtures, right? We're going to be playing, a couple of times a week, even in the Premier League, let alone European and cup games for teams in Europe, and the FA Cup domestically. But yeah, we are getting into a stage of the season where, results do increasingly matter. I think it's fair to say it's not just about performances. And, if I'm a Spurs fan and I'm looking at the quality in our squad, which I think is pretty high, I think they have decent players across the board. I will say that, as we've seen in the first 10 minutes of this game, those defensive injuries are really hurting them today. Yeah. I mean, City are clearly feeling very, very confident. And, Spurs do feel like they're on the back foot in their final third. They don't look super, super composed. It seems like panic stations already. But, look at the broader team. Of course, there's quality everywhere, right? You've got Maddison. Kulishevsky's had a good couple of games. He's looked really bright. They spent the money on Solanke. He is getting, the goals will come and have sporadically come. And, I think we probably all agree that Son is one of the most exciting. Great save. Nearly a Haaland goal. Great save.
How did he, was that Silva who came out of that left-hand side like that?
I mean, it was a little luck,
but
burst through.
Was it Savinho? Yeah, it was a bit lucky, but...
But yeah, anyway, I guess, looking at the quality in that Spurs team, this is a team you'd expect to be higher than 10th, right? At this stage, nearly in December. Yes. We're not talking August, September, October. This is when the league table starts to take shape. And teams such as Liverpool, who are at the top, yes, that's a team that's competing for the title. Teams who are at the bottom, it's no surprise that Southampton and Ipswich are the bottom two teams, right? Because the table generally starts to take shape around now. And I think it would be, if I was a fan, I would start to be relatively frustrated because 10th place is pretty sorry for itself, really, when you think about the quality. When you think, this can be the problem when managers play one style, and when it's effective, it blows teams away, as I mentioned, like us, like Brentford. But if you're not willing to experiment or to adapt, with injuries against other teams who will see you coming, I think it's going to be hard. And as we've already seen, the first 12 minutes now here, I'm surprised there's not already a Man City goal.
Yeah, Spencer was saying, unfortunately, I think a City goal is coming. You just don't. I think, like with these two center backs, I don't know if they're going to ever be able to kind of really calm the game down. And here's the thing, like, it's not a team that likes to calm the game down. And, going back to what you were saying, I think, in the beginning of the season, if I, put all these squads on the table, good ball in.
Oh! Yes!
That's a great goal. That was a good ball into.
Wow.
All right. What were we saying?
There we go. You were saying how good Spurs are and how the ball's perfect. That's what we were saying, right?
Sorry.
But I think that's how it's been, right? The inconsistency, I think, in their team. Like you were talking about Kulishevsky. He's one of those guys that, I think that was his ball over here, right? Yeah, I mean, that is a great ball right there, by the way. But it's on. This is where I have to... So regular watchers know, but the boys being Leo and Stitch, the dogs, they get snacks for every goal, but they know how VAR works. So after I yell, we kind of sit and watch it. Well, Stitch knows. Leo's still learning, but we kind of look at VAR to make sure everything is good before we pass out snacks, because I can't make them throw it up if the goal gets called back. So that's a good finish.
Good goal, isn't it? It's a great cross. And
you know what the funny thing is though? Like if it was another team, I would probably feel a lot more confident now. But with Spurs, not only because it's Spurs, I'm not making a Spursy joke, but because of the way they play, Thamer, you just like They would have to be up by 3 or 4 before I say this is in the bag.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that goal started actually with a bad long ball from Dragoshin.
Yeah,
That's how you
exactly.
say. Yeah, it it started with a bad long ball from him. It actually made it a little bit harder for Klozoviski. Um, so he had to make a little extra effort into getting the ball back. And what a beautiful cross inside the
Yeah.
18. And there's no way that he was offside, that James Madison was offside because he was running from behind.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
paranoid, man. That's what VR has done to me. Has kind of like taken away the joy
yeah.
with instant celebrations.
But to be honest, like I'm seeing a lot of different Spurs today.
I know what he was trying to do, but just give it
Yeah,
Spawn over there and let him do
bad
his thing. Let him
pass.
take somebody 1v1, you know?
Yeah. But see, these two defenders, Ben Davis and Dragoshin, it's a new partnership.
Yep.
Hopefully they do good. At least in this game
Yeah.
against
I don't
against
care what they do
Alabama.
after this. Yeah, that's on them.
Yeah, no
In the box, ooh,
kidding. Ooh.
I mean, the
Ay,
danger
ay,
bells
ay,
are constantly ringing, though.
ay,
It goes back to what you're saying. I think those center backs, there's a lot of space in the middle. It feels like Glenn.
Yeah, clearly, and that was nearly a goal for Foden. Just flies. It's hard to see from the replay. Flies over the bar, but yeah, there's so much space, right? And this is really beneficial for this City team because you've got so many players who love to play in pockets of space, right? Foden thrives when he can play in between centre backs or in between central midfielders and central defenders. Gundogan, we have a lot of really technical, creative players in this City, as I mentioned at the start, City attacking lineup. Now, it's just funny, isn't it, really? They can be dominant on the ball and look like scoring once or twice. And Vicario made that excellent save from Haaland low down. Those are really tough to make. And yet, as we kind of breaking through the lines here again, in transition, Spurs look really good. And Man City look really vulnerable. It's another ball across the face.
ooh.
Yeah.
No,
Honestly, the thing is, if I could say, hey, Spurs will sit back now and attack, but they're not going to sit back, because honestly, a team with their quality, if they set back a bit more, they have the players to just destroy you on the counter.
Yeah, and they're not going to want to do that. And yeah, this clearly would be shocked if this was a Spurs clean sheet. So you get the feeling that they're going to be like,
exactly.
well, that's not going to
You just
happen.
don't expect that. Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to go for a second goal, maybe a third goal, and just anticipate, we are going to concede at some point. I mean, what it makes is a fantastic spectacle. I think it's one of those rare games so far that's very much lived up to entertainment, right? We have a kind of shocked Spurs lead. We have a fantastic save from the Spurs keeper. We have already flashpoints that could have led to more goals. Even, that early yellow card, it really did set the tone for a really intense matchup between these two teams. It's high intensity, isn't it? The passes. I would say that both midfields, both
He
defensive
was almost gone,
midfields
man.
are looking really shaky. I mean, the attacking midfielders for both sides are finding it pretty easy to, get the ball out to the fullbacks like Pedro Porro right here, to move play along. It feels like a game that's being played in both opposition, defensive thirds.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like people are walking past midfield. It feels like.
Yeah, midfield is non-existent. And Rico Lewis is, he's good on the ball, but
off the ball.
Good save.
Great save.
I think he saw it coming all the way, but yeah,
Son.
good shots. Yeah, suddenly, I mean, even the comments, people were getting worried, but suddenly Spurs have some like life in them. It's just that City can be dangerous, and you can't just count on Spurs buckling down defensively.
Spurs need to find the balance, between the attack and the defense, and try to close down these half spaces that what Glenn was talking about. Because City have a lot of players that they love these half spaces. You got Savinho, you got Bernardo Silva, you got Gundogan if he go up in the attack. You got Rico Lewis, who's really technical player. Who can do some damage like from these half spaces. It's not just one or two players. A lot of them. Phil Foden as well. They need to find a balance between the attack and the defense. both teams, you guys are, I don't know. I see the same thing, and I agree with you. Both teams midfield, it's like they don't exist off the ball,
Yeah.
and passing them is like so easy. So if Spurs kind of like hit the brake every now and then, so they don't have a lot of
Oh,
spaces.
this could be
Oh,
dangerous here.
Madison, so on. So
Did he get it?
Madison, let's go.
Oh
Yes.
yes!
Get
All
Oh,
right. Party
wow.
time.
Get in. Get in, man.
Wow.
There
What a
you go.
finish. What a pass.
What a beautiful
It
one.
almost seemed
Holy.
a bit too intricate to do in the box, right? And then
It did. It did. It felt indulgent, didn't it? I was like, just shoot. Just get it out of your feet and shoot. But it was so intricate. Wow. Who saw this coming? 2-0 Spurs after less than 20 minutes. That is.
I had a dream early on this
incredible.
morning, and that's about it.
Well, okay. So who's in the midfield for City?
So
Gundogan, Rico, and Foden, I guess, right? I mean,
Well,
if you look at the three.
Silva, because SofaScore
Oh,
actually
Silva, yes.
they just adjusted even the formation 4-3-3, right? So who's in the sixth position or the defensive midfield? Some people don't like numbers.
I don't know, because they play. It feels like they play because they have so much possession. Normally, it's like they play almost like a double pivot. But I would think out of the two, you want Gundogan to be the one that's more consistently back, just because he probably doesn't have the motor to go up and down as like Rico would.
Well, I was saying that Nunes, before the game started, I thought that he's gonna put Nunes in that position. Beside him will be someone like Gundogan. The other side will be Bernardo Silva.
So we just got to make sure you don't talk to Pep and give him these ideas, because I think you're right. It would have, it would have been a lot better. Yeah,
it would have been way better for him. So that was a shocker for me, that not seeing Nunes there. That is his natural position. He played him in the, as I said, left wing last game. He did okay for the first half, but that's not his position. I don't know. It's like Pep is rattled by the amount of injuries that they have, and it's like he's, how can I say? When you are so tired, you're not able to focus.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's what's happening with Pep. He's so stressed that he's not focusing. The solutions are right in front of him, to be honest, but he's choosing something else.
It almost feels like too, like especially like the Kevin De Bruyne situation. I mean, it almost feels like he's playing and man, they're missing too. They're getting these chances. They're missing. Thank God. But it feels like he's playing more like the long game, which Glenn normally they can afford to do, because they're usually the ones being chased. They're within a point or two and stuff like that. Like where he normally, if this was the end of the season, I'm thinking Kevin De Bruyne is out there. But now, because of his fragility, he's not playing him, just playing it safe, because you don't want to get him out there and then lose him for like 2-3 months again.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. But this is the thing, if this result holds and Liverpool get the expected win tomorrow, I mean, that's going to be a big gap, isn't it?
That and jinxing us, by the way. That's the third time you said that. Stop the jinx.
It's because it's my Tonali's pick, so I have to have some sympathy for Southampton, some encouragement. Yeah, 8 point gap maybe if those results go as we think. If Liverpool win, sure. That's huge, isn't it? For this time of the season, we know they can do it. We know they can chase, and we know it's the cliche about Man City, and it's the cliche because it's true. They accelerate when other teams seem to fall away. So post-Christmas, that's when they really come into their own, and they really can just put together strings of 8, 9, 10, 11 wins on the bounce and start putting this pressure on the teams above them. But with this gap emerging, and so on one hand, it's the Liverpool gap. Liverpool look fantastic, and it's so exciting. They're doing so well. That's great for the league. But also, Arsenal are still alive and kicking and brushed aside Forest today. I don't know if Forest barely had a shot on goal, really. Just so easy for Arsenal. Clean sheet for them, which they haven't had in ages. So that's them getting back to basics. People like Saka. Odegaard's fit and chipping in with a great assist. Arsenal, the pieces of the Arsenal puzzle that they need are starting to come together. And Chelsea, I wouldn't say they're title contenders, but I would say they're going to put pressure on people above them, right? That's what I think the Chelsea team's going to do. They're going to score a lot of goals.
Slightly pencil them in for top 4, you think?
Oh yeah,
So,
I do.
right?
I do think they'll finish. I think they'll finish 4th at the minute. I think the top 4. I think at the minute it's Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal. I think if you switch Chelsea and Arsenal around, that would be my top 4 for the season. I think to finish it off. So yeah, Chelsea, are going to be a factor, right? So it's not just going to be Man City.
Can you repeat your top 4 again? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah. So what it looks like right now, if this result holds, is Liverpool first, City second, Chelsea third, Arsenal 4th, and I think it'll be very similar. At the end of the season, I'd just switch Chelsea and Arsenal, so I'd have Arsenal third, Chelsea 4th. From what we've seen so far, I mean that's not a very exciting prediction, is it? Because I'm basically mirroring what's happening, but I will say,
you're not breaking new ground here, but
no, but I think
I like your thinking regardless.
But I think
it's
Chelsea
convenient though, so I like it. I don't mind.
Yes, it's convenient. And Chelsea look good. So I guess, the point is, it's not just Man City's to lose or throw away. There's a lot of teams who are going to put pressure on them this entire season, which we haven't had a lot of in recent seasons. Usually it's been just Arsenal or just Liverpool. It's great to have a variety of teams who are going to push them really hard.
Spencer says Chelsea and Arsenal are only a point behind City right now, and they both have a better goal differential than City. I mean, and that's mainly because really out of all those teams, maybe not Chelsea, because they're a little all over the place, but defensively, they're probably the worst team. I mean, we've kind of gone a long way because of the system as well. Defensively, Arsenal kind of relies on that more than anybody else, I think. But City, I think that's the biggest difference. I was talking about this last week, us playing Villa, they had a similar game where I think they can't put the game away, whereas we don't concede, they concede, and Liverpool is able to get the second goal and finish it off, and City loses points because they are leaking goals. So there's something to be said about being good defensively and not conceding goals, not just about scoring goals. So, but this is, I mean, compared to how the game started. And look, City is constantly finding danger and in the box. It almost feels like, is it just me, guys, or it's just too easy to get in the box?
No. The combination of these two defenders, as well as the two midfielders in front of them, Pepe Sarr, and Bissouma, I think he's not fully back from the injury. He came back from an injury maybe a few weeks ago. I think he's still didn't fully come back performance-wise. So it's so easy to go through that middle. There's a lot of spaces between these two guys, Ben Davies and Radushin, I think because they never played together. So that's why you see
dangerous.
Yeah.
This is like a 5-on-4 right now.
Because they played through the press. They played straight through it.
I really want to confess.
Cross that in? Oh, man.
See,
good deed.
Where's Gundogan?
He was hustling, trying to get back. He was hustling, but he wasn't back.
I'm going to confess this. One of the players that I really respect, and I really wanted to see at Liverpool at one point, but I think it was the timing of moving, is Gundogan. I really respect this player. I like him. And I feel bad for him that he's doing bad. And at the same time, I wish he keeps doing bad because that means more goals and more dangerous chances for Spurs.
I don't feel as bad. He could have played for the Turkish national team instead of the German one, so there's that. But no, here's the thing, though. I think Gündoğan, when they signed Gündoğan, I was not very thrilled about that because I really thought his goals can make a huge difference. But Rodri not being there has been, I think, yeah.
Yes!
To the corner.
Oh.
He had 3 options as well.
Yeah,
it was a good pass he played, but he had he had players out. He had players everywhere.
Through ball to the
who's playing left back? Who's playing left back?
That's Poro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Poro through, man. He was nobody's
Guardiola.
Yeah, Guardiola's had a shocking game so far.
I mean, to be fair to him, he's not really a left back, and they're using him as a left back, and that's not everybody's Ake can pull that off. It feels like so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, going back to Gündoğan, I mean, if Rodri is around, I think Gündoğan is a totally different player.
Oh, yes, because that's not his place, and he's really bad in his positioning, Gundogan. Really bad as a DM.
Jamie's in the house. Jamie, you should just come on, man. Early City, same for Spencer. The link is on there. So if you guys are in the chats, just click the link. If you have a camera, face the camera and hop on air. Early City have been 2-0 down since December 19, Everton. I'm afraid to ask the final result of that game, Jamie. So hopefully it was good. I'm afraid just because it's Everton, I worry about that. But that was. This is how he started the game, by the way. That's how he saw the yellow cards.
You see how much space is between the defenders and those two
Madison's
midfielders?
birthday today. Well, happy goddamn birthday with those 2 goals.
No kidding.
And yes, if you are a regular American Scouser follower, the Polish Prince has his birthday today. So he'll be with me tomorrow. He's my Monday morning partner, and the prince is celebrating. So the entire kingdom will be celebrating for 40 days and 40 nights. What was the final score of that game, Jamie? Hook us up with the info.
Which game?
He was saying this is the earliest City have been 2-0 down at home since December 19th when they played against Everton. Since it's Everton, I don't know if it ended well or not, but he's off, isn't he?
Ooh. Another save, another one to save for Vicario.
Wow.
It looked like he was a few yards. Yeah, he is off. I was like, that was just.
Oh yeah, he has so much space. Great save though.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
I did.
off. Yeah.
Oh, offside.
Wow,
That should have been offside.
He's a good shot stopper, Vicario. He's got a clanger with the ball at his feet, but
he's good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good with his feet too. He's a really good goalkeeper, by the way.
He is. I get he had a really bad game against Brentford. The last time I saw him for 90 minutes was the Brentford game in September. He should have. Well, yeah, he was bouncing the ball. He was handling the ball a fair few yards outside of the penalty area. He just looked very scattered. But I do agree. Generally speaking, he's a really strong goalkeeper. I totally agree. So look so Kyle Walker on the right hand side. Nobody within how many feet of him. Just not a soul near him. If they switch it,
yeah, I don't even know if Son knows he's there.
It's funny. This is the width has come from all the attackers. There seems to be no defenders for either team who seem to feel like tracking back and following the width, because the amount of space on this field has been extraordinary. Because you watch some games, the Brentford-Everton one was such a different context, but, we were trying to block Everton from having any space, and suddenly the pitch looks really small, right? And everyone gets really tangled, and there's short passes and interceptions. Whereas this pitch has looked huge today because, here it is, the guy I just mentioned, totally unmarked.
Yeah, you called it, man. He's been there. He's been there for the last 5 minutes since you
yeah, exactly. The pitch looks huge today because there's so much space. He's probably fouled a couple of times there. he fouled him once, and then he decided to foul him again. And
they play this weird shape where it almost becomes like a 5-2-3, and they leave the wides like to their left back and right back to defend.
Yeah.
Normally, you would see the wingers coming back and helping there, and they have Son and Kulusevski looks like they're more tucked in. So it's like a weird shape-wise. Must be something that they see in, because I don't think they play like that every time. Jamie says 3-1 Everton for that game. Oh, let's see.
Yeah. Well, 32nd minute of this game, or 32nd minute. 33rd minute almost in this game. 2-0 for Spurs.
Again, nobody covered that dude in the back post, by the way. He was wide open.
See, one of the games this season that I've watched for Spurs was against Brighton. It was a really very entertaining game. I really enjoyed watching it. First half, it was 2-0 for Spurs. And it's like Brighton didn't even exist in the first half. Second half, Brighton did few tactical changes and whatnot. And Spurs just didn't know how to press on the brakes. And they came back in the game 3-2. Brighton finished it 3-2. So
Brighton is one of those other teams that I find fun to watch. I mean, I try to kind of I used to be too much of a junkie and just watch some like really shit games. Now I kind of like look at who's playing. If it's like an idle game and Liverpool is not on and stuff like that. Like this is obviously a game you would watch, but like Brentford, I would probably watch, to be honest with you, Glenn, just because of how open they play. It's going to be a smash mouth goal scoring kind of a game. Brighton is another one because I enjoy like how they play, and it's like a fun team to watch. Not to mention now they got Ferdi over there, so that's another thing to watch for me. But
yeah, they got a good win. Brighton got a good win against their South Coast rivals Bournemouth today. And then despite going down to 10 men, I think towards the end of the game. Yeah, João Pedro's back for them, goal and assist, and he is a really, really talented forward, and he is a really key player. But even in his absence, we've had players like Danny Welbeck stepping up. I mean, they have got so much utility and goals out of Danny Welbeck. I mean, I don't think many people saw that when he signed. He was probably seen as more of a senior bit part player, but he's led the line so well, throughout November, October.
Saw that.
Yeah, and they signed Ruta from Leeds as well. So, they've got a really packed forward line when everyone's fit. And as you said, they play really attacking, entertaining football in the same vein as Brentford and Spurs. So, yeah, they're always a team to watch. And that's why, the Spurs and the Brighton game was so entertaining and so open because, both teams just played to their philosophy. And once again, that was a day where it came back to hurt Tottenham because they had the lead and refused to defend it. So it can harm you.
Yeah. What's up, Ryan? It is a fun game as a Reds fan right now, that's for sure. But kind of still pins and needles. I won't be satisfied till it's the 80th minute or something at 2-0, just because of the way Spurs play. And I mean, City has found chances. It's just a matter of they have not finished them. But having said that, like you can almost see that any second a third goal might come to off a counter. So this is what I was really hoping out of this game, and it's delivered so far.
See, if Guardiola next second half brings in Nunes for maybe Rico Lewis, then I'll say City going to come back.
Yeah, Spencer knows what I'm talking about. And I think, like you bring Kevin De Bruyne in, but it's risky to bring Kevin De Bruyne in because, he's not going to track back a lot and the counters are going to be even more dangerous. So, good save.
Yeah, what stood out recently for Man City is it's just Haaland not finishing the way he was, scoring early in the season. Yeah, it speaks for itself. He's banging in hat-tricks for fun first couple of games. But it's been so interesting. Him and Salah in the last couple of weeks have both had very, very similar XG across their last 5-6 games. Salah's been clinical and finishing and scoring and getting the goals, getting the points for Liverpool. And Haaland has been really, really off form. And honestly, some of the chances he's had so far today in this game, I think one of them probably goes in if he's in that same vein of form as he was early in the season. He was scoring for fun. And they're still creating chances for him. And sure, he hasn't had like a one-on-one. Yeah, I appreciate that. He hasn't had like a real gilt-edged chance. But, he was scoring every half chance he would get over previous seasons as well. Like he's clinical. And that's what's scary is because at Man City, he gets so much service and he scores. Now, what we've seen with Rodri being absent, that makes everyone poorer. But I didn't expect it to affect Haaland so much. And maybe it's more of a casual factor. Oh, good from
that was a risky back pass.
Yeah, keeper did well there. But again, Haaland is just, and what put it in my mind is just that attack that broke down a few seconds ago just before this move. Haaland the ball was kind of stuck at his feet and he couldn't quite lay it off. Like those are the passes that he makes for fun when he's in form. It's just been really I'll be really interested to see how he plays for the for the next 5-10 minutes in the second half because he's not at his best right now at all, and that's really affecting their output in terms of goals.
I'm really interested to see what Guardiola are going to do in the second half, to be honest, because looking at the bench for Spurs, I don't think he should do any changes at the moment.
Yeah, I think if anything, you eventually take Bissouma out before he sees a red or something like that. But I agree.
Yeah,
based on how the game is going, I don't know.
But the problem is who are you going to bring in for Basuma because Bentancur is out.
That's true.
Right. I don't recognize of the other names. They're young players.
Most of them are young players. I mean, the only name, obviously Brennan Johnson is on there, but he would not play centrally. Timo Werner, he would not play centrally. So yeah, not a lot of well-known options. Because Gray is a back as well, right?
He's a winger. Yeah, Archie
right.
Gray, because
So
we
he's not
wanted to
going to
sign him.
play in the centrally. I don't know if any of these youngsters are central, but you might have to tell Bissouma. Really, he created his own disaster for the yellow card initially. So if he doesn't do that, this does not look good though. But we might have jinxed this guy. But
yeah, I think Bergvall would be the one. I think he's more attacking. He's a midfielder. I think he's more creative, but he's probably the one that would have to come on if someone's going to operate centrally. Because yeah, as you said, I don't think Timo Werner running around in the center of the park's going to do a huge amount for their structural stability.
I'd love to see it. He's supposed to doesn't do a lot of.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't help on the wing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I could see in the second half maybe Johnson would come in for Madison, and Johnson would go on the right wing, and Kulusevski will be more centralized.
There's Aaron.
Yeah, that'll be the only viable substitution I see for Spurs.
This looks like Aaron brought his little brother, so the game is just what it looks like. It's like kids.
Oh yeah, they're all kids. But on the other hand, City, holy man, he can still bring in Kevin De Bruyne, for 15 minutes, last 15 minutes. He can bring in Nunes, as I said. Jack Grealish, for Savinho's is doing okay, but not great so far. Nathan Ake, maybe he can put him in for Gvardiol, because Gvardiol is not having a really good game.
No. But you would think they would. I mean, Ake can push up, but yeah, they don't have an option over there that's going to kind of give him some attacking force. But if you bring De Bruyne in, I think that would be I don't know, do you throw Rico as a winger? Because he's played right back and stuff before too. But
to be honest, I would sub Rico.
Oh, here we go. Number 3.
Yes,
yeah, the game seems to have passed Lewis by a bit, as it has many City players, but he's looked pretty ineffective, to be honest.
That's the thing, man. Any seconds, there's very careless, missed passes and stuff like that in the back that you see from City, which is kind of uncharacteristic. So long may it continue. Don't get me wrong. What do you guys think about Savinho, by the way? I meant to ask that earlier, and then something else happened in the game. But what do you guys think? I mean, that's one thing I think compared to the past, when we're comparing lineups and stuff, the Spurs team does not have as much quality.
Oh,
dude, hit it with
heavy
the left,
touch.
man.
Heavy touch. Yeah, he should have gone outside.
Just take a shot with the left, see what happens. Because you had guys in the middle. If that ball kind of bounces out,
you should have just kicked. Oh, that's Savinho, huh?
Oh, I should have passed it. He should have passed it.
Exactly.
Here's a good chance.
Bernardo Silva, Gvardiol. Come on, clear it, man.
Yeah, let's finish this half like this.
No kidding.
Yeah, with Savinho, I honestly haven't seen enough of him yet to really form an opinion. With Doku, someone I've seen a little bit more often. He seems to be quite hit and miss generally. He's clearly got a bit of talent. He doesn't feel like a very Man City player because he's kind of get your head down and dribble, and that seems to be the antithesis of the Pep Guardiola way of playing, which is make Jack Grealish, who was that player for Villa, turn him into somebody who checks back and passes it back. Foden and Haaland have been in the mix. Foden's looked the danger man for me. He's looked lively. He's got his head up. He's been the one that I think something's going to happen.
It's
going to come
odd
through him.
because you see Foden getting in between the defenders a lot more and finding space, and Haaland is usually in the back post, kind of like centering it, like bring it back to the middle so far.
Yeah, and because usually what you want, right, is Haaland in the middle hitting those knockdowns in. But actually, he's been the guy, as you said, who's been at the back post heading it back across. That's actually not ideal because you want Haaland tapping them in. So you can see even with
somebody eventually makes a run left.
Yeah, another chance. Son has just been great, hasn't he? He's just such a danger. And so I think Son must be one of the most consistent wingers, honestly, in the history of the Premier League. How often do you see Son have a poor game? Very, very rarely. And usually if he does, usually it's because of a fitness concern. Usually because he's carrying an injury or he's coming back from fitness. He is just such a great, consistent player. And being a winger must be one of the hardest positions to be consistently good over years in the Premier League, right?
True.
And he's just, every time I see him fully fit, starting, you expect a goal or an assist. You just expect it from him in a way that's very, very rare in the Premier League. Like a Salah, like, you know, for an equivalent, Mo Salah, if he's fit, you expect a goal from him most games. It's like that consistency is kind of crazy. And again, Son, when he has the ball, he always has City on the back foot because they know how dangerous he is. They know that he can create.
I think that's the thing, though, right? Like Mo is the same way. I feel like there are certain players that you can kind of put up with mediocrity. Like even if they're not having like a good game, you can kind of put up with it, knowing at any given moment they can make something happen. I mean, there are certain players. There are only a few players that you can kind of, if you're a manager, you just can't afford to take them out because you know they can change the game at any given moment. Son, I feel like he's one of those guys, and I think that's great for a player because I think that's like a lot of confidence, knowing you can afford to make mistakes and you're still going to get more opportunities. You don't have like limited chances to make an impact.
See, Son is one of the favorite players for club. I think he even tried multiple times to fancy the idea, and he was shut down either by the management of Liverpool or by the management of Spurs, saying that he's not for sale. I really like Son. He's really consistent.
Yeah, would have loved to have him. I think like the time has passed now, but
now it's passed.
You can see him fitting in right when Mane moved on. Can you imagine if Son had come in as a replacement? Wow,
would have been the best, the perfect fit. Hopefully, this first half there's just 3 minutes extra time.
3 minutes extra, so we already won in. So we got like 2 minutes left. Let's keep the ball over here. Finish.
It's gone quick, hasn't it? It's flown by. What a good game of football. What a good game.
It's pretty like, I mean, this is what kind of like you expect out of this game. I think it would have been a different deal though if City had the lead, because they could slow it down and keep it stuff like that. That's just not in Spurs DNA. So you know you're just going to get constant chaos.
Yeah, it's more of the same. I wonder if Pep's going to
be a foul, right? I mean,
he's like rugby tackled into this.
Yeah.
I'd be curious if Pep is a little bit clinical, harsh at halftime. I wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe a double substitution. That wouldn't surprise me. You know, I would look at. I don't know. We don't know the state of De Bruyne's fitness, but I'd want to try and get 45 minutes out of him. I might want to see a player like Grealish come on as well. Who was the other one? Yeah, Nunez we've discussed, right? I mean, there's so much quality on the bench, and honestly, not to overreact. I think managers can overcorrect, but this City 11 that started has not been at the races, so far in terms of actually putting Spurs under sustained pressure. That was the first 10 minutes, right? That's when we thought it's going to open. It's been pretty soft since then. If I was Pep, I would think, all right, we have quality on the bench. Players like Lewis, Gundogan, players have been very just underwhelming. Let's just switch it up. And I
went up really, really early. I hate that, like sometimes they just let you play till somebody breaks their head. And then I thought that was pretty darn close.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, no, I think he would do some changes, and he's not going to be very reactive. I don't know. Rico Lewis out, Nunes in is the most sensible and logical substitution, to be honest.
I think it really depends on how healthy De Bruyne is, right? If it was really more like, let's play it safe, I think you don't take any more chances. That was a unnecessary pass by Son. End of half. Let's finish this up over here. You don't need any drama.
There we go. Good handling.
And it is halftime.
It's halftime.
Yeah, great half of football. Not a scoreline.
I know, right? Couldn't have asked for more. But hey, if you're watching us, I know there are several on YouTube right now. Hit that like button, like, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. And hey, jump on air. The link is pinned all the way on top. I'll throw it again after halftime. If you want to get on air, we got an open rectangle for you. Just hop in on air and let us know what you think. But we'll use this time, take a quick break, whatever you guys use it for, another cup of coffee, bathroom break, or whatever, and we'll be back for the second half.
Okay, thank you.
All right, back in action. Jamie has been busy this halftime. Hold on, we got some stats coming our way over here. This is not a good one. City have won each of their last 2 Premier League games when trailing by 2 goals at halftime. And Ake is in. Kind of slightly called that one. So yeah, there's last such one came against Spurs. Dang it, Jamie. Why the negative? Why the negative? That's the only change.
Who was off for Ake?
Sorry?
John Stones. Okay, John Stones came off. We thought it'd be Rico Lewis, but it's Stones.
Well, Stones is coming back from an injury. So is Akanji as well. So there's a lot of their players are coming back from injury,
Yeah.
Kyle Walker, there was a lot of talks that he might be not fit for this game. Second half just started. Oh, Nathan Ake came in for Stones, eh?
Yeah, so that's like, we thought if anything he would come in, but it would be for Guardiola. But going back to what you were saying, it's probably is maybe injury related and felt something or something like that.
Yeah, or Pep didn't think he was, up to speed, up to scratch. You could say that for a lot of the team, to be honest. Performance alone, I think you could have dragged half the City team off, and that would have been understandable because they haven't been nearly good enough.
Yeah, a lot of their players are not fully fit, I would say.
Yep. Yeah, interesting to see Spurs on the ball first up. What do we think? Are Spurs gonna hold on to it? Are they gonna see it out? It's tough, isn't it? I'm gonna say maybe a draw.
Man. We're hoping, but I like to say it's not only because just the fact that it's Spurs, it's just the way they play overall. And being Tottenham Hotspurs doesn't help the cause, but when it's 3, I will be a lot more comfortable and in a lot more jolly. Last like 20 minutes or something like that, but especially an early goal. And that's the thing, like Spurs, here's another thing, aside from their style of play, the mindset, right? Not a lot of teams when it's 2-1, they're going to be like, oh shit. I think Spurs, they know they're Spurs, so I can see them going a lot more panicky if it becomes like 2-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
But let's face it, Tamer, we would take a 2-2 if need be. Well, it's a lot better.
I'll take any dropping points from City anytime, any game, any week. But see, I have a little concern here with Spurs. So their style is long balls coming from the central back or central defenders. When it was Romero and Mickey Van de Ven, these long balls have good quality on it.
Yep.
But they keep losing the ball whenever it's a long ball from Dragoshen or Ben Davis because they don't have the quality, I guess. They need to keep the ball. See, okay, there we go. Not that.
They've done
quality,
that, like ball on the ground to Son, where he like chips it over. I think that's like the 10th time we've seen that, by the way. And to be fair, it keeps working, so why not keep doing it? But
keep doing it. Keep the ball on the ground. Keep possessing the ball. Don't give it to City.
Don't do risky passes
yeah.
that.
Do the easy ones.
Yeah, they got lucky with that foul. It's a great point you make, though. It's a really good point about, we look at the centre-backs not being first choice and you immediately think defensively, right? You think, oh, Haaland's going to be bullying them and you think Foden's going to have space. But it also has attacking implications as well, doesn't it? As you said, if those long balls aren't as quality, over 90 minutes, sure, they've got away with it so far and they've played really well, but over 90 minutes, those balls being mishit or somebody not being able to pick them up, if they don't reach Solanke, that's going to catch up. That's a really good point.
Yeah, you're going to keep losing the ball. And guess what? Like you're giving the ball back to City. City is a team that when they have the ball, they can do a lot with it.
Yep.
Right? So you don't want to lose the ball. You don't want to give away the ball so easy like that.
And then, like when I say style, that's why I worry because it's the Spurs. That's just not how they play. They're not going to play a possession style. They're just going to. I mean, how many times have we seen Spurs kind of camp the ball up top and kind of moving around the City box? I think it happened like twice the entire game so far. They're just going to that's just not how they play. But hey, so far, whatever they're doing, do more of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It goes back to the same point you guys were talking about. Plan B for Spurs, and they
Yeah.
don't. This should be their plan B now in this part of the game.
Yes,
You slow it
exactly.
down just a little bit. Keep the ball on the ground. Keep possessing it. Okay. Porto,
Good
let's
run from
go.
Porro.
Yeah.
Mhm. He
Yeah.
collapsed it as well.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah. Solanke's not finding his feet yet.
I wonder
Yep,
right now,
today.
especially the last 20 minutes, as inconsistent as he is, Timo would be a better option with his speeds compared to Solanke up top.
Timo will come in. He's probably going to take the left wing from Son. Son will be the more central one.
Yeah. Or
So
that I
that's
can do with that. Like somebody with
yeah.
more speed up the middle. Because they're not really using Solanke a lot where he's like dropping the ball or something like that, like playing as like a target man. So
Basuma is the like really scary passes. Oh,
that has to be a foul.
that should be a yellow, man.
That should be a yellow as well. Exactly. Yeah.
No, is he gonna give a yellow or just a warning?
I don't know about you guys. Bernardo Silva is in the top 10 of Timuchin's top hated players.
I should have
Put
been.
Neymar on the list until he retires.
Oh, no.
Neymar is one. Oh, yeah, easily. Neymar is one. Bruno Fernandes is up there. I think it's up there for the entire panel. But I don't think you were there. There's a clip.
That was a chance.
We have a clip. I should play that pretty soon where I think Alan from Arsenal was talking about, he doesn't wish injury on anybody. Like we're having this chat and I'm like, how about Bruno Fernandes? And I think we had 6 people on the panel that day. And everybody was like, yeah, fuck him. Yeah. So he's on the top of the list for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, Bruno Fernandes for me is top of the list. Second place is Pickford. Dinosaur hands.
Yeah, you gotta throw Pickford in the list. We should do a top 10 most hated. And then I will find out that it's actually a list of 50 people.
Dinosaur hands. That's what I call them. T-Rex hands.
Oh yes, it's the City still haven't found that fluency yet. We thought that they might have come out for the second half. And
this could be a good cover here.
Spurs on the counter now. It looks like a replay of the first half so far.
Drop it.
Play on the edge. Here we go.
Yeah!
Oh!
Wow! Giddy up.
Wow. So
I cannot believe myself cheering for Porto, but you know what? Get in there.
Wow. What a finish.
Sacrifices must be made.
I know. I'm making this. I'm taking a hit for the team now.
Wow. How easy was that? What a pathetic concede for Man City. Just no tracking back, no. They've looked. It's really funny. We've been so concerned about Spurs' defensive vulnerabilities. Leading up to this first half. Yeah, City have looked more like a Spurs team than Spurs have today. They've looked just so open. I can't believe what we're watching. They've looked naive. Do you see everyone going towards the board? It's just such naive defending.
Watch Gvardiol position. And look, nobody from the midfield.
As the defender, I'm putting that on the midfield. Where the hell are you guys at?
The defender takes about 30-40%. Nobody from the midfield. That's why I said
shocking.
Should have Nunes. Their midfield
How's that for a finish, though?
Bad.
Yeah.
Bang. that is perfect. Because Edison nearly gets his gloves on it, right? It's just too hard. It's in the side netting.
Wow, this is shocking. Yeah. This is fun, but shocking.
They're humiliating City here. I mean, if they're doing a little team celebration, pretending they're on a bus or whatever they're doing, so, I mean, that must infuriate Pep and the City fans. I mean, they're taking the piss, really, aren't they? The Spurs players. And rightly so. They deserve it, and rightly so. I mean, good for them.
And this is away. I mean, we kind of forget that, but this is an away game.
Last home loss was the mighty Brentford. So the last team to get a league win there.
Prior to this game, City lost 4 games in a row. That's the first time in Pep Guardiola's history, by the way, losing 4 games in a row. This is their fifth, so they're setting a new record now.
Long may it continue.
Wow, 3-0
Yeah,
at home.
Spencer says empty head is pretty quiet, which we don't even have the sound on, but I can only imagine. It's normally quiet. So I can only imagine now. So
Holy, is this the first yellow card in the game?
I think so, right? Oh no, we had
Really?
one in the 18th second. Remember, with Basuma.
Sumo, oh yeah, idiot.
Oh, here's that clip, by the way.
And either way, like I hate to see that when really good players get knocked out, whether they're my rivals or not. That's not good for the game at the end of the day.
What if it is Bruno Fernandes?
Oh, he can get hurt. I hate that
Fuck
guy.
Bruno Fernandes.
You got us.
All right.
You got us, Timothy.
So he is definitely on everybody's list.
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
I bet you he probably is on the list for some of the Man United fans themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. The guy's personality is just bad. He might debate he's a good footballer.
Oh, he's a good footballer. I don't think. I mean, he's a quality footballer, but his demeanor and everything like that, I would not want that in my captain,
No,
especially my captain. I think more than anything else.
Exactly. It's even worse that he's a captain.
Well,
Let's see.
this is shocking.
Yeah, and
Midfield is bad, man. You see now Kyle Walker is trying to help in the midfield.
Yep.
You see that now?
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is, can you imagine being an Arsenal fan right now? Because you're like, you got to be shitting me. Like, they probably thought, everybody thought, really, like, it's going to be them two going into the season. There wasn't a lot of with a new manager and stuff like that. So they're like, if we didn't wet the bed, if they would do what Liverpool is doing right now, City is there to be had, and it's only going to get worse, I think.
No. Man, Solanke is just
I'm telling you, it's time for Timo. Solanke here's the thing, though. Like, there's something to be said about, I know having played the position as a defender, constantly, like, wrestling with a dude, even if he's not effective, if he's wearing you down, it's basically helps other people who are attacking. So, and he's doing that. He's
and he creates space. Creates space, yeah. And he got the assist, right, for the Porro goal as well.
Yes, he did.
So he's doing something right.
He did. Yeah. I don't know, man. Pep Guardiola is really stressed. He's not focused. If he should have subbed anyone, should have been Gvardiol, should have been Rico Lewis.
You would think he's going to have to now put all the cards on the table, right? De Bruyne. Or does he think, Glenn, he's like, this game is pretty much gone. Why risk it in a game we're down 3-0?
He can't think that, not against Spurs at home. It's definitely not gone.
Do you risk De Bruyne, though, who's like recently has been made out of glass, and now you're going to lose
this is the thing.
3 months?
He shouldn't be on the bench if they're not going to use him. It's like, what is he, the mascot? If he's on the bench, he should be fit to play some of the game.
Exactly.
That's kind of the point. If he's not fit, that's fine. Leave him out of the squad, so we don't have to waste our time talking about this. If he's on the bench, put him on the field. There's like 30 minutes left.
Or don't put him on.
I'd get him on.
But see, like last. Yeah, no, I hear you. But last game, like he had Nathan Ake, he had Akanji even on the bench. He didn't even use them last game.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, it's a good point.
Spencer says City fans already leaving. Like all 4 of them? Like where are they going?
Oh, man. I love your jabs, man. I hope people that they understand them as well, because they're really funny. They're really funny. I give you that.
But I will say, City, to put a bit of pressure on Spurs and want a goal in the next 5 to 10 minutes, right? You're going to want 20 minutes to try and chase 2 more. You start leaving it too late, and even Spurs will have the common sense to know that it's extremely rare to be 3-0 up at the Etihad and to react to at least that, if nothing else. So, City want a goal as soon as possible. And yet, the more they push up, it's the same deal for Spurs.
Yes.
The more dangerous the Spurs look on the counter, it's maybe more likely we see a 4th Spurs goal. It's really interesting. Oh, really interestingly poised.
It's like the worst team to have to do that against is Spurs, really, right?
I agree. I agree.
If they don't score before the 70th minute, it's going to be really tough for City to come back.
Yeah.
Even for a draw.
I agree. So that's a big ask to get that many goals in a row.
I mean, I think getting
and also
4
not
in
concede
30
more.
minutes
This is
is
And
tough
not
act right
conceding
now,
as
really.
well. Yeah.
Oh.
Let's not jinx it, though. See,
Well, the 70th minute, that's why. Oh my God, Bissouma. Idiot.
Oh, crossbar for Haaland. You know what I mean? Like that goes in. If this is the first 3-4 weeks of the season, that flies in the top corner. Although I will say, from his
isn't that
position,
funny? Yeah, you're right, though.
he does well. He does well here. This is not a bad shot, but it's not falling for him right now. He's not having any luck. I mean, that hits pretty square on the crossbar, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Jesus, dude! Like he started the season like he's gonna have like 85 goals.
Yeah, break
Like,
records,
how
and
many
he was
records
breaking
gonna break and
records.
stuff. And Spurs have gotten a little bit too comfortable. It feels like, but I know it's almost semi-natural, though, right? I know, they know they're playing City too, but it's semi-natural when you go up 3 to be like, "Whoo!" I mean, we were like, "Holy cow, we didn't expect this." I don't think they expected it to be either. So,
another chance. You feel the goals coming.
Oh,
I
don't know, man.
If they push on, get a first goal next 5 minutes or so, the game will look very different for the final 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But if Spurs hold out, if they soak up this pressure and they continue to do that, anything could happen. This is why it's such a fun matchup, and we knew it was a great game to pick for a live watch along, right? Because we knew it would be entertaining. The only result that wasn't going to happen was 0-0. Anything else was on the cards today.
Exactly. It was like when I look at games, like possible games that we can do as a channel, as a live watch along. I mean, I try to pick teams like, obviously, like there are some like big matchups like this, but the fact that it's Tottenham and stuff like that makes it a lot more, watchable.
Yep.
Yeah, Spurs, Brighton, to be honest, Liverpool as well.
Yep.
Those will be Wolves. Oh my God, I watched Wolves versus Fulham today. 4-1 for Wolves.
What a win. Cunha is just... he's one of the most informed players in the league, isn't he? He's exceptional. He's technically good. He's a goal scorer, but he's creative. He's kind of the complete package as a forward. I'm just amazed when I watch him.
He is. What a spectacular player, to be honest. Last season, I really wanted him in Liverpool. He would have made a big impact and a difference. I want to say big up to the 42 viewers like on Twitter. Please, get engaged if you have any questions for anyone, or if you have any comment that you want to share with us, as well as for
like Twitter makes it tricky, but hop on over to the YouTube side. Heck, click on the link, hop on air. Actually, you know what? I'll send the link again.
Definitely.
I'll post the link, especially towards the last 15-20 minutes. Just, grab a drink. Let's start the party. Son is coming off. Emo? Who's coming in? Oh, Johnson is coming in. Well, that's another good option, actually, to run him down that wing.
Well, Gvardiol is not subbed yet, so I would bring in a quick player that can do more damage.
He must be really concerned.
Going to help us defensively as well. I'm actually shocked Madison is still out there, but I think that went back to when we were looking at the lineup, not a lot of options in midfield to come in.
They don't have any. It's young players. That's what they.
Yeah, I mean, if it was if Bentancur or somebody was available, I guarantee you he comes in right now to kind of have another body in midfield. And
from what I heard, Bentancur made racist comments about Son.
Yeah, he said something in a TV show in Uruguay and got a suspension, 6 games, 7 games, something like that.
Should have been kicked off.
From something he said, actually, the show is from last June, I want to say. And I was listening to Son when she's talking about him calling and apologizing and stuff like that, but
more City possession in that final third, but they're not doing much with it at the minute.
That's what they're gonna do, they're gonna squeeze the hell out of them, and
I mean, the only guy who's getting open shots in the box has been Guardiola, and I know he scored some key goals, but if you're asking Pep, he's not in the top 5 for people that he wants to take those open shots in the box, probably.
No.
Haven't lost 3 straight Premier League matches since March 2016. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We're watching history, people.
We are. This is the 5th game in a row loss for Pep. It's the first time.
And that's the thing. I didn't, like we were, for Liverpool, for example. I mean, I've been talking about it all week. I really don't even care about the Madrid game. City is not in that position yet to be able to say not care as much about. They got easier matchups in the Champions League, but you never know. You got to get them in it. So it's not even like they can kind of rest and rotate and stuff like that. When the draws first came out, I really thought they would be able to, and we would not be able to. So the way Liverpool has taken care of business in the Champions League kind of enables us to be able to do that. And City is not there.
Yeah, it's the opposite, isn't it? Because Liverpool have been strong on every front. They've been strong in Europe as well, whereas City haven't been at their best there. It is a bit of a crisis. Oh, if he plays the ball,
there we go.
He went the wrong way.
Let's go, Kulusevski. Come on.
Good save. He should have gone left. I think he should have pushed it out. He would have been one-on-one.
Yeah.
It almost
he
went there thinking Ederson wouldn't expect it to go there, but
yeah. It's a good
He
save.
should have went to Johnson though from the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
He should have played the pass out. I fully agree. He was fully one-on-one then, and would have, because Kulusevski's kind of pushed out a little bit wider. Wow, what do we say about it's maybe even more likely to see a 4th Spurs goal?
that is weird, right? I mean, you can see, you wouldn't be shocked whichever team scores right now.
No.
But I'm still thinking there's a lot of time if City gets one, because Spurs is the kind of team that starts kind of be their own enemy.
Well, with their shallow bench, as we mentioned as well, it's very inexperienced, and that's not the case for City.
Oh. This is going to be really bad for City, by the way. 5th loss in a row. See, Real Madrid, you made a little comment there. My opinion when it comes to the Madrid game is he should have went left. Damn. Anyway, the Madrid team, the importance of the when it comes to that game is the spirit, more sentimental importance.
Yeah.
More than the points. I get you, but the reason why I say sentimental is you want to have your team build the confidence, build the spirit, build the positivity. Have more positivity in the dressing room, inside the club and outside of the club. That will help the team, because when you start losing one game, one after the other, this is what you get.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I guess my thing, though, is
even play for a draw,
more chance to rotate. And if you like a matchup more against City in the weekend, then you can do that and play the other guy for midfield. If you want to have Jones playing against City, then you can play Szoboszlai or vice versa. It kind of enables you to do that. I don't expect Slot to do a lot of rotation or anything. He's not going to suddenly start the bench and treat it like a League Cup, but it kind of lets you plan ahead for the weekend and decide midweek accordingly a little bit, or take a guy off early at 20, especially with the guys coming from South America and stuff like that. You're going to get some rotation tomorrow too. Results wise, I definitely get what you're saying in terms of momentum and belief, especially because of a new manager.
Yes.
But man, gotta still look at the big picture, and I feel especially this result helps though, right? I mean, this result definitely puts City. Whereas if City came to that game 5 points behind, it'd be a different story. The draw gets them nowhere now at Anfield.
Definitely.
Yeah, pressure's on. It's going to be really fun to see Man City being the team. Oh, what a chance again.
Yeah, you would.
Haaland's just
15 shots, 2 on targets.
He's drifting.
15 shots probably now and 2 on targets. I mean, it's been.
He's drifting away from where he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Foden is the one that's taken his place a lot of times.
To be fair to Haaland with the replay, like that cross is quite high, and he still does very well to actually
It's
make
high,
that.
yeah.
Most players would actually not even connect with that because it's high. So
Oh, yeah.
to his credit there, but it's just symptomatic of a attacking team. The cross is overhit in that way. It's actually not a great cross. So City just aren't looking this kind of well-oiled machine that we're so used to, and it's going to be really fun to see them under pressure. Usually it's Arteta or Klopp or whoever else that's back to the wall. This is a must-win game, or if you don't play attackingly at the Etihad, you're going to throw away your season, like that notorious draw that Arsenal got. Right?
Yep.
That's going to be different for the foreseeable future. I don't see Arsenal and Liverpool dropping a stack of points anytime soon. Sure, there'll be some draws and an upset, like the Forest game, but I see both sides actually kicking on from here, and this can only give them confidence. Must be really.
I think you see a City game, and this probably goes back to what you're saying, Thamer, is you're seeing a City team that's rushing a little bit more, because when you start when you keep winning, I mean, there's a confidence of it's going to happen. We just got to do our thing, and you can play a bit slower and do your things. When those crosses are a bit too high, too low, part of it is that it's rushing as well, and like semi-panicky. Got to score fast. We got to score 2 more after this kind of a deal. So there's something to be said about that. So that's why I do agree with that point. But man, when it's like, especially for them, it's been back to back to back. They have to know. I mean, like Jamie says, 5 on the bounce. And I mean, they have to know it is crumbling. So there's that panic that comes from that.
Yeah. And, we've critiqued Spurs' lack of plan B for the stream. And, you could say something similar to some extent about City. They're playing. Yeah, they're playing in a worse way, but their style is pretty similar, right? It's just hold the ball, find the chink in the armor, and that's fine. It's very effective. But when it doesn't work, and when they don't get to play, I mean, what's basically luxury football, right? The most teams come to the Etihad expecting to lose. They give Man City 60% possession, 70% possession. They just sit back. Spurs haven't done that, and City have been the ones under pressure from the break. So I think it's really interesting to see if there's a plan B for Pep now. And we haven't seen one. We've seen minimal subs, very minimal subs, right? We haven't seen him come up with the answers yet. And we've got 20 minutes to find the answers, to find 3 goals, preferably 4 goals. But at the minute, they're desperately clawing back a point. So they are looking increasingly more one-dimensional than maybe we've seen in any other point under Pep's kind of reign.
Damn it, Amy, you're making me hungry. Custard cream sounds so good right now. There's De Bruyne. It's like I'll play 20 minutes too late. Or more.
Well, we're past the 70th minute, so
to be honest, we talked about it a lot and gave him a lot of shit about it, but they've kind of kept a good shape defensively over here while City had possession.
They were lucky a little bit, though, to be honest. Like,
I mean, they did give a lot of shots up. That's true.
Yeah, Basuma scares me, to be honest. If I was a Spurs fan, Basuma is scaring me. He looks a little bit relaxed, or I know he came back from an injury, a recent injury, before the international break. I think he came back, but decent ball.
Oh, good D there by okay. That was dangerous.
It'll be interesting to see who De Bruyne gonna sub.
Rico, you think? Or does he take somebody out from like defense?
It should be Rico, because otherwise he will throw himself out of balance. Like the team will be just not balanced, and there'll be more.
Oh, there comes Grealish. I think
Grealish.
balance out. I think you're just flushing balance out the door over here and throwing the kitchen sink.
No, I think it's Savinho gonna come out for Grealish. Grealish gonna come in for Savinho. That's the most sensible one.
That's one.
And 17, who's that?
That's Grealish coming in for Savinho. That was the first one.
Oh, for De Bruyne. Okay.
Oh, De Bruyne. Okay.
That's fine.
And Rico is coming out. Okay.
Rico coming out. Okay. I think he got his brain back now.
Because you can say Gündoğan. You can tell Gündoğan, hey, sit back a little bit and give us cover for a counter or something like that. But
yeah, I think he will invert Kyle Walker more and more to give a little bit freedom to Gundogan. You need to give Gundogan a little bit more freedom and not depend on him as a DM.
The problem with Gundogan is he doesn't have the speed to keep up with Spurs on the counter.
Yeah,
you saw that on the last goal.
Oh yeah,
third goal. But this is the dangerous thing with Kevin De Bruyne. It's kind of like, us with Trent. Like, you don't want him picking up the ball, looking into the box, and having time to send the ball in, because more than likely they're going to send a quality ball like that. That was a good ball, but good D.
But see him, Pep Guardiola not bringing in Kevin De Bruyne and Jack Grealish till the 73rd, 74th minute. That speaks of their fitness.
Yeah, true.
Otherwise, you would have brought them in, right after the third goal. Why would you wait?
Kulusevski has definitely had a solid game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is just. We all knew, we talked about Spurs being dangerous on the counter and stuff like that, but I did not. I would have expected Pep to kind of plan for that and play accordingly.
Yeah, I agree.
No, Glenn is right. Like, I don't see Plan B. I'm not seeing Plan B from Man City. Glenn was saying that, and
I think it's kind of. We're a little bit like this now too. I think it's based on a bit of a patience and stuff like that in your attack, and you can't suddenly change that. They've just been good on the ball overall. I don't want to jinx it, but they haven't they've given up a couple of silly balls in the back, but during build-up, they haven't made crucial mistakes.
they don't know how to build up, to be honest. They're better on counterattacks, transitions, and long balls. Yeah. That's why you see them. They keep losing the ball when they start building up, because they always do it in a high speed. Like, they do it quickly. They don't know how to do it calmly.
Hey, I thought he was off.
See, you need Gundogan there, up front, man, not in the back.
So he looked off. Maybe not. That was a good ball.
Mm-hmm. That's where you need Gundogan, man. You actually buried him when you put him in the DM.
Yep. Got to get a goal soon. You think before 80 would be really kind of.
If you want to draw, you got to get a goal now.
Yes, now or never. Because it's 3 goals, man.
So the tactics for the last 30 minutes have essentially been put it out wide, throw in an overhit cross, somebody at the back post either passes it or shoots, and then they're not making any high XG quality chances here, are they? All the chances are half chances, if that. They're scrappy. They're playing really scrappy football, which is unlikely. That's a good save by Vicario earlier.
I think it's almost like Spurs have said, "You're not coming through the middle.
Yeah,
you can have the wing."
I agree, and they're pretty comfortable because the crosses haven't been good quality. This is the bottom line. They've not had that, and now they're getting frustrated.
Oh, Bernardo, that's a shame.
Oh, that's a horrible tackle.
He couldn't even fucking complain about that. It was that clear of a yellow.
Madison, again, one of these annoying players, but wow, he has taken a fair few hits today, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's done the Jack Grealish thing of drawing all these fouls. He's done it for nearly 80 minutes now. He's been exceptional.
I would put Grealish high on my list. The low socks as a defender just says kick me. So that's a foul. Wasn't it over the top like that?
Yeah, kinda.
Here's the thing though, they don't get as much credit. They haven't done a lot with the ball, but if they've been able to block the middle, a lot has to be with Bissouma and Sarr really clogging up the middle there and then forcing him out wide. You haven't done them do a whole lot with the ball, but they've clogged the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been effective, haven't they?
You see him right there now. Sarr is sitting right in front of him. Bissouma moving up and forth. There's no room. It's way too crowded in the middle. So there's about
about 8 defenders in that central third.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
and they
completely
don't get
overcrowding it.
suckered out a lot. I mean, we were talking. Remember, like we were saying, like Walker's wide open in the back and stuff. They don't almost like try to go out there and get stretched.
Oh,
Oh, another save!
holy!
Ooh, that's a foul.
That's a foul.
Another
save.
one that Haaland scores if he's.
I'm telling you, yeah. Like if
he's in
Nunez
form.
has a game like this, Thamer knows we're just freaking.
Oh,
People
a
are
little bit
killing.
of pushing.
Oh yeah, they're
A
mixed.
little bit of hustle and tussle there.
Haaland should have scored that.
Holland could have had a hat trick this game, to be honest.
That's been every game.
Like
for
you
the
were
last
saying,
few
Glenn,
months.
the Holland in the first couple of weeks would have had a hat trick play.
Yeah, he would have scored all these half. Yeah, that was a clear chance, but he just knew where the back of the net was. And it's funny, obviously the opposition's not as hard, but even in the international break, he got a hat trick for Norway. So
Yeah.
he can still score, and he's going to score a ton of goals this season. But it's such an interesting symptom of this kind of wider Man City malaise. Is Haaland is out of form, and that speaks volumes about the entire kind of feeling at the club right now, which is no one's playing to their best. Defensively, they look like a bit of a joke, to be honest. And there you go, and a booking as well.
Who was the second booking to? Sorry.
It looked like Haaland, but I'm not sure. But it might have been Sarr.
It was
Kevin
De Bruyne. Yeah.
That's a great save.
Are those the two that got into it?
That was a great save.
Oh, come on.
Like, why does Sarr get a yellow there? I'm
Seriously,
like,
why?
It's like the NBA double technical at this point. I think they've been watching too much NBA. You're like, you know what? They can get out of any sticky situation by showing a caution to both sides. We should start doing that too. You don't have as many double yellows in the past. Glenn, you're a lot younger, but back in my day, we didn't have this many like you get a yellow, Oprah kind of bullshit. It was
You get a yellow. Oh man, we are in the 80th minute now. 81st.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jamie says, does this mean there'll be a watch along? Man, if it was gonna work, I would watch along every goddamn city in Arsenal.
Get a season
Not
ticket.
Arsenal though. Not Arsenal, man. They are horrible to watch. They're really bad on the eye.
Here's the thing though, like if it's not Spurs, I don't know if City would be fun to watch too. You know what I mean? Like City kind of brings that unpredictability to the game. Jamie says start a petition. You gotta get all these guys off of Twitter and Facebook over this way there, Jamie. Go grab them. Go run over to Twitter. Bring these guys over. Yeah, see, we've suffered a lot over the years, Glenn, so we're taking special joy in this.
You need to. With both United and City now, these have been the dynasties over previous years. I think City are running out of time here. I think it's a big ask to get 3 goals now.
Yeah, 8 minutes to the original time. Even less.
It was interesting that De Bruyne, I think, if I'm correct, was the one that linked up with Haaland for that one-on-one chance there.
Yes.
I think he played a quick 1-2. I mean, it just shows that quality. And regardless of whether he's fit or not, it just really underlines how much he's missed. So both Rodri and De Bruyne are essential to the Pep project, right? They are 2 of the absolute key players. More key than Haaland, because Haaland's come later into the fold, hasn't he? So, they were winning titles before Haaland. It's really Rodri and De Bruyne who are the architects of this team. And if you're missing them both, I mean, that is really challenging. And it's like, missing, Van Dijk and Salah, at the same time for months and months. Like, it's really difficult.
And I think like Mo is a good example. I think there are some players who just their presence is enough sometimes, because you don't want, we talk about them, coming in tights and like leaving the wings. You're not going to leave De Bruyne out in the wing. You're not going to say, go ahead and cross it to De Bruyne. So his presence automatically kind of stretches the defense a bit more. They're really putting the pressure over here. Oh, poor Bernardo. That's a damn shame.
See, they're applying similar pressure to what they did in Arsenal game. If you remember that game.
Yeah.
It was 2-1 for Arsenal till like the last minutes. Arsenal were playing 10 men. Starting the second half, they had a red card at the end of the first half.
Yep.
And
they did. I mean, that was one thing for Arsenal to hang in there.
But it was all negative pressure, to be honest. They didn't widen up the pressure and use the wings more. I think he learned a lesson from that game, and that's why he brought in Jack Grealish. But he's not fit.
Ooh.
Wow, Vicario. That's an
Looked
offside. That's an
offside.
I
offside.
mean, their biggest attacking threat has been Guardiola, to be honest.
Which
Like,
is
the amount of
which is a
open
bad
shots.
sign.
Oh, he's way off.
No, yeah, he's way out. Which is a bad sign. Having
exactly,
Vardio as your, biggest threat should have been Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, Gundogan, Foden.
Yeah, this is very interesting, man. I was kind of really looking forward to this game to see where is City at. Not only because they had the streak, I was like, how is this Pep extension? Is that going to be the bounce back and stuff like that? I mean, they bounced, but not back. So this is good.
I don't know, man. Pep lost his way. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this right now. Hasn't lost 3 consecutive league matches since 2015 with Bayern, not even City.
Yeah.
2015, Jesus.
10 years, nearly.
10 years, yeah.
It just doesn't
I'm
happen.
telling you, this is a record for Pep. 4 games, those are in all competition. Now, before this game, this is the 5th one. But in
see what
the
I mean?
league,
The same thing. It's like just an overhit cross the back post. They've done that for like 30 minutes. Well, they've done that for the entire game, but specifically the second half. That's been their very one-track strategy, and it's been a bit of a failure, to be honest. And it hasn't put Spurs under any sustained pressure at all. Look at that. It's just hopeless. Just overhit, bouncing, horrible to deal with as the attacker.
Rushed.
Just terrible. Yeah, they've been really rushed. It's been so true.
Because it's panic, it's rushing it, doubt is sneaking up in the squad, and in the team. Doubting themselves, doubting, that they can do it.
And I haven't seen much belief, probably from us or on the field, that really City were going to do it the second half. We always know they can because they have the ability, but I don't think I've seen a huge amount of conviction. In the stadium that's emptied out, which is pathetic, and watching the players, I haven't seen a great sense.
Hate to see it, Glenn.
Yeah, it's just I haven't really believed for 1 minute in the second half that they are going to turn this around. It all started with the first goal, right? That's what they needed. We've said that throughout the half, that they needed to kickstart this second half with a goal. And then when they scored 1, then yes, you can see 2 and 3 coming quickly. But
I mean, we thought they could come back just from the name, not from the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
it's
were
the
looking at
reputation.
the match and you're like, oh, they're gonna come back. It was more like this is City, you never know. More on reputation than the actual play.
For both teams, for Spurs as well, inversely, like absolutely.
This is gonna be 4. There's a 4th goal in here.
Well, he's offside. Oh, but he was offside.
Did they not raise the flag yet? Oh, he's just
He's pointing.
He plays
you love a night out in Manchester
advantage.
tonight. To be fair, Jamie, you'd love a night out in Manchester any night. So I don't know if that narrows it down, but no problem getting a drink in the bar or a taxi home. Yeah, man, he's off, isn't he? Didn't he come from offside? Yeah, you can almost feel the pain of all these fans leaving, right? It's just like nothing is happening. Like, what are we doing out there? Kind of a game.
Well, they're not used to it. This is the funny thing.
Yeah,
It's like watching a normal Premier League
Mm-hmm.
team. They're like watching they're not as invincible. There's the Pep mystique has been
Put in the kids.
broken. It's Bergval and
his younger
Werner,
brother.
I think.
Timo Werner for Solanke, probably. That kid for maybe Madison. What was
Steve
that
Vicario
kid?
shouting at
Yeah,
Madison.
why is he like?
He just didn't
like,
care. Madison just wanted to give
Yeah,
him.
man, it's like the game's over, right? Like,
I think it's Bergval is the midfielder, if that's pronounced correctly.
yeah, I think that's the guy.
Younger
That's
guy.
the kid coming in.
More
He's,
central midfielder.
More central, eh?
So it was Jones. Well, I guess you can. I don't know. I got to watch the replay on that one, but okay. So this is both goals in the first half came from that side over there with Jones and with Stones and Walker.
Yep, that would help explain the Stones substitution.
Yeah,
well.
right. Because you can see both in both replays, they're right in there. So,
yeah, watching the ball go in exactly.
Akanji is not any better anyway. Maybe just a little bit better because, as I said, they're all not fit, not fully fit, man.
Yeah, so true.
oh, he's putting all the kids in. Spence is coming in.
Yeah, it's last 6 minutes, so let's have a
Yeah, it's just almost
boys
getting the
festival.
applause for the guys coming out.
Yeah.
Jed Spence, the forgotten man. Hopefully, he can turn things around at Spurs.
Now these kids, they're gonna break the ice against the city names. So next time, if they play against them,
Oh, they're a part of history now,
they break the ice.
It's like, I was there when City lost the 5th game in a row.
Exactly.
Makes a good grandpa story down the years.
Yeah. So the third row in the league, in the Premier League, this is the third loss. I call it the loss now because we're almost in the 90th minute.
Yeah,
this
is
is
gone
definitely
now.
done.
It's done.
Dusted.
It's done. Yeah.
It won't even be, I don't imagine, more than 4 or 5 minutes at a time because there hasn't been a huge amount of injuries from memory in the second half. It's just been substitutions. 4 minutes.
Soccer
There you go.
should add like a 3-point goal. Like if you score from your side of the field or something like that. It should be like
4 minutes. 4 minutes to go, eh?
And they're doing the same thing. You're so right that Spurs have just made another half chance.
Good
Haaland, that's good defending. Spurs have just blocked off the center of the pitch. They just keep forcing Bernardo and everyone, just forcing them out wide. Oh, I mean, if that sums up the game, as they take a quick corner and boot it into touch, nothing else does. Yeah, Spurs have been exceptional. I mean, that's the story as well. As bad as Man City have been, Spurs have been superb. So what a win. What a statement win for them. And after all, we were kind of criticizing or, critiquing at least a little bit of the Ange Ball method. It's been so effective right now.
But I think it goes back to, like, do you know what you're going to get from Spurs next week? This is the same team that lost the Ipswich. And that, that's the thing. We'll ask Jake on the panel on Tuesday. See, Jake will be there this week, I guarantee you. He'll be there on the panel to celebrate this. That's a yellow.
That's a yellow.
See, I wouldn't even, why.
This is the second time for Akanji, and he should have, I don't know, man. He should have got a yellow already before this one. I don't know. Anyway, Spurs, they're going to need a few people, like few high-quality midfielders. A better backup for Bissouma, or even someone that, can play instead of Bissouma. That's one of the positions that they need to.
You're not a fan of Bissouma, I'm getting. I actually wanted Bissouma at one point. Not anymore, but back in the day kind of a thing.
No, there's no substitution for Bissouma other than Bentancur, who is really not a great player.
What was that? He just let that one go.
Yeah.
It's the depth that they're
spoiler alert.
Oh, here we go. No way.
Spencer.
Oh my God.
I saw Spencer, and as we were talking, I saw the screen in the background update to 4. So we're like probably 15 seconds behind with our screen.
Wow.
It's like, wow, this is
Get in there,
shocking.
birds. Get in there, birds.
What joy. What a damn shame.
Get in there.
Wow.
It's
result
blue,
of the
all right.
See, I'm telling you, man, a loss, loss after loss after loss. That's it, man. Doubt starts.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think there's a big difference between a 4-0 loss to Spurs and a 1-0 loss to Spurs?
Oh, yeah. Huge.
You think so?
Huge.
Like, I just don't know psychologically. They're like, we don't care either way. It's like 0
big time, man. 4-0.
At home, I think away.
At home as well, right? Too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Oh my God!
I mean, that's just like Bernardo just walking back and shits. Look at Bernardo. He's like, poor Bernardo.
What a great substitution! The right time to do it as well. Look at that pace.
Bring in the kids.
last thing you want is a player with his pace coming at you in the 90-plus third minute.
Knowing Timo Werner, I bet you that was a shot, but that's a different story.
I was going to say, you beat me to saying that was a good assist. Wow. Iconic Premier League game. This has turned out to be. It's going to be one for the history books. You don't often get this at all.
Yeah. No, I think Postecoglou, he just saved his season.
Yeah.
He just
we get a lot of credit from this.
A couple of months.
Great point. Great point. Well, as you said, they got Fulham at home. You got Roma in the Europa League, and then they've got Fulham at home in the Premier League next up. So that's the game to be like, okay, can we build, or are Fulham going to come and turn us over and get a 1-0, 2-0 win? That's going to be the real test, because this has been exceptional.
How do you think, Tamer, this kind of reflects on our game now? I know they have to come to win, but do you get a team that's fragile, or do you get a team that has to make up points after this showing here? I mean, they do have a game midweek, I guess, to kind of bounce back a little bit too, but psychologically, coming to Anfield, do they use that as to kind of make things right, if you will, or are we just going to get that really fragile team that can fall apart?
You mean against City, right?
Yeah, when we play them next weekend.
Oh, we have to freaking, like, how can I say, kill any little piece of spirit that they have when they come into Anfield. I'm not kidding,
Yeah.
I'm not proposing, any hates or anything. I'm talking like football wise, right?
Oh yeah, you are. Yeah.
You have to. No. Well, if we win against Southampton, we already gonna have 8 points. 8 points, kind of a record. I thought I saw it on Sky News that it never happened in the Premier League that another team have reversed an 8-point gap and won the league. Yeah.
And this is a huge boost for us tomorrow, too.
So this is already a huge boost. If we win against Southampton, it will be already 8 points, right?
Yeah.
Glenn already told us we're winning, so you don't even have to watch them.
And then as the point you're making, make that an 11-point gap when you play them.
Yeah.
And if you make it 11 points, oh boy, man. And you're already far from Arsenal. And Arsenal, they're going to have some tough games too. They don't have really easy games. So if you're 11 points away from City, 14 points, say, or 14 points away from Arsenal as well, or 12 points.
What are we, 9, I think? Is that where we're at? Hold on. I'll
9 from Chelsea and Arsenal right now. That's huge. That is absolutely huge.
And if you win against Southampton, there'll be 12 tomorrow.
We're 6 points ahead now with a game in hand. So if we win tomorrow, we would have 8 on City, 9 on Chelsea, and Arsenal.
Yeah, assuming the win. And Brighton are up there. And
Nine,
isn't it amazing that Spurs
and Brighton? But hey, I mean,
Spurs have jumped up.
Arsenal has there's no easy games on paper. Easy games the next 2-3 weeks, but 9 points is a lot of freaking points, man. And I will definitely take it. I mean, 8 points from City is huge.
Their next game in the league is West Ham, but they're going to play against Sporting Lisbon. They lost their coach. I think they're going to have it's going to have a big impact on Sporting Lisbon. But they're going to play against West Ham, a team that's trying to come back up. Lopetegui is not doing very well with that team, with West Ham. But
they play United.
Yeah, they're trying to come back up.
No, Arsenal basically goes to West Ham, then they play home against United, who hopefully will come. That game will come at a good time with the new manager smell, kind of like helping United a little bit. But I mean, yeah, man. Either way, we still got to take care of business, but definitely a lot to be excited about. Let's do some final words, gentlemen. Glenn, let's start with you as the Brentford dude. What did you get out of this?
Yeah, well, I got a lot of entertainment.
Apart from watching us having way too much fun, what did you get out of this?
Well, I think the team, as we've just discussed, that this is best for with Liverpool. I mean, that would be my takeaway. It's obviously Liverpool focused channel as well, and this game has had huge implications for Liverpool's season. City just looked sluggish. They looked slow. Some of their players, as you mentioned many times, didn't look fully fit. They looked better when De Bruyne was on the pitch, but clearly he wasn't in a position to get on there earlier if Pep didn't think he could have. And yeah, I mean, I think Spurs came with a game plan that was perfectly executed, which was to play on the counter, play in transition, and cram those central areas and force all the Man City attacks, we've said a few times, out to the wings. And City did not adapt to that. They actually played exactly how Spurs would have hoped they would have. They responded in exactly the way Spurs would have wanted them to, which was, sure, we'll go out on the wings and do absolutely nothing with it. An overhit cross, and a half shot, and a block. And, you know, Spurs defended resolutely. They made it look easy when it's not. I mean, coming here and keeping a clean sheet, let alone getting 4 goals, is a huge achievement. Pretty much no team comes here and gets a clean sheet. I would love to know when the last time that happened. And gets a win as well, right? You know, maybe a 0-0, but who comes here, wins, and doesn't concede? That's massive. And they look great, and I'm glad they got the 4th too, because that was the kind of icing on the top that honestly they deserve. We were correct, right? Didn't we actually say how many times in the second half? Maybe a 4th goal is more likely than a City first, and that's exactly what happened. So it was extraordinary to watch. It was really surprising. And City just could not respond to a really flawless game plan from Spurs. And that is not a good sign for their season.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And I think the biggest thing is that's why I think it's shocking. And I thought, you know, he would throw whatever he's got and get De Bruyne out there and stuff like that. You just needed somebody on those wings to send quality balls in. And none of those were really quality balls. How about you, Tamer? And then plug in the channel while you're at it as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Well, thank you so much for having me. You know, big up to you, Glenn. Nice meeting you as well.
Great.
Big up to everybody watching us on, you know, across all social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. See, coming into this game yesterday, I was talking to friends, and I was telling them that Spurs is one of the teams that City actually struggle against. Spurs have won before this game 7 times. City have won 11 times. There was a couple draws in the middle. So it's one of the teams that they actually struggle against, along with Liverpool as well. We've seen, like, today, there's a few records for Mr. Pep Guardiola, I guess. First home loss since 2022 in the Premier League. The first time he loses 3 games in a row in the Premier League since 2015, 10 years. Holy crap.
Yeah.
The first time that he loses 5 games in a row in all competitions. The previous game was a record. Now this is a newer record. I don't know. I saw him seriously. I think he's lacking focus because he's really stressed. As well as on top of that, a lot of his players they're not fully fit, whether physically or maybe mentally. For some of them, Kevin De Bruyne coming in 72nd, 73rd minute, and you're already trailing 3-0. That means you're scared that Kevin De Bruyne might pick up an injury or he's not fully fit, as well as Jack Grealish. So even the solutions that he tried to provide in this game, they came on late. Nunes, I didn't see Nunes at
I don't
all.
think he came in at all. Yeah.
No, he didn't. So it's like, what is going on there? Does he have an injury as well?
Keep that in the down low. Don't let him hear that shit.
No, man. Pep is Pep. You know, he's really stubborn. He doesn't have plan B. Spurs, on the other hand, to be honest, like, big up to Spurs. They put in a big show there. 4-0, big statement, man. 4-0 against Man City at home. No matter how bad City is, no matter how bad they are, you coming in here to the Etihad and putting that show 4-0, that's a huge statement for them. They do have a lot to work on, like especially in the midfield. They need another player beside Bissouma, or back up to Bissouma. It looks like an area that they should look at. But Spurs had a plan B. They know how to. They showed me that they can defend. They cannot build up on the ground, in the back, or even in the midfield. They still can't. They pass the ball too fast, too quick. They need to slow down a little bit when they build up like that. But they showed me that they can defend. I didn't see that a lot from Spurs today.
Yeah.
Big up to you, Timochin, Glenn. Thank you so much for having me. Tomorrow is another day, another game for Liverpool. Looking forward for that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for both of you guys hopping on. Thanks to all those listening today. We were here for Pep's special day, so that's the best we can do for him. So historic day in that sense. But yeah, definitely a great day for our boys in Reds. Hopefully there'll be more to it tomorrow. You heard it here first. Glenn told us 10 times we're winning tomorrow. So hopefully they'll go. I'll be missing the game tomorrow. Having seen Coot's lifestyle, I've decided to kind of start doing some refereeing. I'm like, this seems like a good way to party. So I am going to be doing that freaking clinic in the morning to get my license. So I'll be missing the game. Hopefully the boys won't need me because I always worry leaving them unattended like this. But if we get the 3 points tomorrow, that should be huge. Thanks a lot again for everybody. Hit that like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Pass on the word. We are almost at 1,000. So trying to get that by Christmas. That's the goal over here. So do share, spread the word. And hey, if you want to ever join us, send us a message. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Doesn't get any better than this, but do what you can. Take care, everybody.
See ya.